So, a piece of advice when you're looking to date someone is before you get into a new relationship, it's good to look back at your old relationships and see what you learned from it. You got to reflect back on what you learned. And it takes a little bit of time to do that because the lessons you learned might not be what you really thought they were. Some of the things I learned from my last one is that I people please way too much. I say I don't care what people think about me, but then my actions, I got stuck in a certain cycle of behavior, certain patterns of behavior where, like, his family didn't like me, so I was trying to win them over. I was trying to constantly do things to show them, like, yeah, I made a mistake, but I'm a better person now, and, you know, I learned from my mistakes, and I was trying to show him that I was worthy of him, when the whole time I was already worthy of him. Like, I was already good enough for him. I was actually too good for him, but I didn't see that. I was so, because of my past traumas and sadly, it all stems from childhood. Like, everything goes back to childhood, and you really gotta focus on that. And when I say it goes back to childhood, I don't mean to put any blame. It's no blame on the parents. Most parents are doing the best that they can. But when you, first of all, attachment styles. I'm still learning about that. The different attachment styles. The goal is to have a secure attachment style, which neither one of us had. He was insecure avoidant, and I was insecure anxious. And so that caused a runner chaser dynamic. It caused, whenever I was anxious, I would kind of get clingy and needy, and then that would make him get avoidant. And all of it has to do with, you know, our childhood. So when I started learning about that, I tried to work on myself, but then I became kind of avoidant, and I started holding back my emotions, and, you know, it triggered a different cycle. So it takes time to heal and to grow and to learn. And yeah, so those are some of the things I learned from that last relationship. And yeah, I stopped. One of the reasons why I loved him so much is because I could totally be myself around him, like every single side of me, the good, the bad, the ugly, and he still loved me. The stuff, the weird, crazy sides that, like, my own family doesn't like certain sides of me, and he liked those parts of me. And so I really clung to that. I really, really felt safe, and feeling safe physically and feeling safe emotionally is so incredibly important, especially to women, and especially to women who have been abused. And when you've had mental trauma, emotional trauma, physical, sexual trauma, you know, safety is so important. And I felt so safe with him. But then again, because he wasn't healthy, he had his own insecurities, he took that for granted. So, and also I stopped being myself. I stopped showing certain sides of me, or I tried to repress them. So yeah, it's good to stop before you jump into a new relationship. Make sure that you're not repeating the same patterns, because if you don't stop and reflect and take accountability is so important. You can't just say, oh, I learned my lesson, I'm never going to date this type of guy again, or I'm never going to date this type of girl again, or all guys are the same, all girls are the same. You can't do that. You got to take accountability for your own actions and your own behaviors, and taking accountability means changing your ways. Change does take time, but if you have the intention to do it, and you take little steps here and there, you know, every day take a new step. Even if you make a mistake, it's okay. Forgive yourself and ask forgiveness from the other person. That's so important. And you have to admit when you're wrong. He never would admit when he was wrong. He never, ever took accountability for his mistakes. He would apologize by, you know, doing something sweet, making me breakfast, or making me dinner, or buying me something, or, you know, giving me a gift. That's sweet, and I appreciate that love language. But you still have to apologize for your mistakes. And like I always say, the best apology is changed behavior. And behavior is something that's learned and can be changed. As a registered behavior therapist, I learned what drives behaviors, how to change behaviors. And instead of using it to change other people's behaviors, I used it to change my own. And I think that's so important. We need to learn how to change our own behaviors. And most importantly, this was important to, honestly, the breakdown of our relationship is, in the behavior world, you realize you automatically become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if those 5 people you spend the most time with, and this is not a judgment thing, it's not saying people are good or bad or whatever, but let's say your goals in life are to, own your own business, settle down, have a family, have a relationship, have kids, be stable, whatever it is, and you're hanging out with people who go out and party all the time, and you're getting advice from them, and you're going to become like them. You can't get advice. People sometimes get advice from their friends instead of a therapist, and that's not the way to do it. You need to get advice from either somebody professionally qualified to do it, or someone who's been down that road and has the same goals that you have. If you're getting advice from someone who does not have the same goals that you have, you're not getting good advice. So I forgot where I saw it, but a famous psychologist said that if you are spending time with people who are divorced, you're more likely to get divorced. If you're spending time with people who are overweight, you're going to gain weight. And actually the weight thing, all of this is based scientifically, because emotions and hormones and all this stuff, they are energy and they're contagious. I'm sure you've walked into a room where people are arguing or fighting, it's stressful, and you feel that tension, you feel that stress inside you. Cortisol is a hormone that is responsible for stress. And if you walk into a room and people are stressed, you're going to feel stressed. And it's actually not just feel it, it activates the cortisol in your body. Your brain, your body starts producing that cortisol, that stress. So that's just one example of how who you hang around with is who you become. So you gotta pay attention to that and be cognizant of that when you're making decisions of who to spend time with, who to get your relationship advice from, and all that, because that impacts your relationship that you have. You might have a great relationship and you love this person and they love you, but you're spending time with people who don't align with your goals. It's gonna destroy your relationship. So I hope that helps you guys. I love you all. Mwah. God bless you. Bye-bye.